Fellowship of the Road Task in Harbor, Quebec. Hello everybody and welcome to another special episode of SnowRunner here at Overfed Gaming. I am the Overfed. We are in a special task which is part of the Routier Solution Canada Inc contract, where we pick up the last two bundles of metal beam. We've already delivered two and we're picking up the last ones at the factory and we're going to deliver them to the central bridge. Now we've also delivered six pallets of cement already, and we're at the tail end of the task here. We're driving our Sleiter ST 816 Elephant, which I might add is a wonderful truck to use, fast becoming one of my favorites. I have a few, as you might know if you've been watching my channel, but the Sleiter, I really enjoy driving this truck, especially if I got to pull big trailers. You know, he seems to be one of the most capable. He's solid, steady, lots of power, nice big tires. He does, however, lack the chains, which is always nice to have when you're on an ice road. But if you're driving into hills like this, or even over frozen lakes, not so much of an issue if you don't have them. Anyhow, we got quite a ways to go and quite a treacherous journey to participate in here as we head out onto the ice. Now, this part of the map, the ice is rather treacherous and you really got to be careful. But if you take your time and you watch, as you can see where I'm driving, the line on the ice is fairly dark, and you can see little white lines that go straight down, and that just kind of shows that the ice is frozen. I always wondered about the trailer, you know, but I looked back a few times at the trailer when I was driving, and it just kind of slides along over top of the holes behind the truck. So I imagine if you just keep your truck out of the parts where you're going to fall through, the trailer will just follow along. You don't have to worry about it. Now here we got to cross over to the left here, and you can't quite see it at the moment. Now you can. You can see where we got to go to. And I didn't realize it at first, but you should take this a little bit wide to the right hand side and come around in a little bit of an arc. Now I went too close to the left hand side here, and I got stuck in here for a while. Now it took me a while to get out, but I'm going to spare you the agony, because it was really hard. I had to try, the truck had to get moved over to the right, and I just couldn't get there. Finally, after a lot of jockeying back and forth and a little bit of crying on my part, we finally got it moved over and we got out of there. And we were able to continue our journey. Not for a few more seconds here. There we go. We finally got the Sleiter loose. Now I don't know what kind of a disaster that would have been had I used a different truck. So I don't know, maybe we should just keep our fingers crossed that we used the Sleiter this time and we managed to get out of there. Because we still have to deliver the two pallets of metal beams here. Now I'm trying to get it to go over to the right hand side, because I don't want to fall back into the same hole again. It just wants to pull me over there. And we finally climb out. You see, and that's why I say you got to be over on the right hand side more over here, and it makes it a little bit easier. Anyhow, we got through it finally. And we can continue on our journey. The trips across the ice are always a little bit difficult. Now we got to climb up the hill here on the right hand side, and it's like a 180 degree turn. It's a hairpin. You gotta go over and come right back in the same direction that you just came down. So it's a little bit of a tight turn, but take it a little wide. The ice over down below there was frozen, so you didn't have any problems falling through there. No, your difficult part is still coming. Now this the little gorge up ahead here is very narrow. Lots of boulders in the way, and you have to just kind of grin and bear it and grind through there. It's a little tight through there, but we can manage to get through. The Sleiter does a pretty good job on it. As you can see, there's not a lot of room and the mud gets a little bit deeper. But we have to go through this way. It's the only way to go. So we have to get through this part of it to get to the other side so we can get back down to ice level. And believe it or not, but in Quebec, traveling on the ice most of the time gets you to where you gotta go a little bit quicker and a little bit easier if you can navigate the ice. But with a little practice, you know, you can get good at it. You know, I used to fall through all the time at the beginning, and now, yeah, every once in a while you still go through, but if you go, like I always try to preach to myself, if you go a little bit slower, then you can catch yourself when you start to fall through the ice and before you get down too deep and you get really stuck. You know, like I almost did there a little while ago. I did finally get out, so, you know, but you just got to go a little bit slower and take your time. Now we're finally through that little narrow gulch and going to be heading back onto ice level here, but it looks a little precarious, and I'm always a little worried when I see trees or logs laying on the ice, because they put them there so you can winch on them. So I'm going to stay away from them and stay close to the hillside, open, and as you can see, it was a little bit better. Nice and solid over there. So I didn't need to use the logs to winch on. Now we still got one more ice crossing to do before we get there, before we get to the central bridge. And with these last two loads of metal beams, we'll have that part of the bridge finished too, and then most of the thoroughfare, the main artery over the map, is going to be open. It's going to make delivery of any other cargo later on a little bit easier for the overfed. Now over here, I don't like the way the ice looks over there, so I'm just going to stick close to the hillside. If we were just on the other side, like driving on the shards of ice right close by the water, that would probably work too, but why climb over there when you don't have to? So I figure we'll just stay close to the side like this and follow it as far as we can. Now we've been through here before, but the odd thing is, you know, every time I come through here, I don't know if the ice looks different or what, but I always seem to take a little bit of a different path at times, and it's always an adventure. I seem to be doing okay. I seem to be picking the nice hard surface anyhow. But I think this time we're just going to go around this rocky area. I've been on either side of it, and you can drive on the other side also. It's fairly solid there. And then you just come back in and then go around this rocky area. Now just past this turn, we're going to have to go across the ice one more time. Just straight up ahead there. Because as you can see, the black arrow and the yellow diamond has once again appeared on the screen, meaning that we're pretty close by. However, we cannot go as the crow flies. We have to go over, because then that would mean we'd have to fly over top of the water, and that's just not going to happen. So we're gonna cross over right here. And there again, too, you got several options here. I choose I like this one close by. Seems solid, and once you get through it, just on the other side of the rock here, starting about right here, everything is pretty good. So it makes for a short little area of risk. Now we just come along the corner here and don't go into that hole that somebody else has fallen into at one time or another. That was probably me. I was probably stuck in there at one point or another. And we're just going to crawl over. You can see the tracks going up into the hill is where we're going to go. And that's going to bring us back just to a little bit north of the garage. And we're going to turn right. So we're going to be turning away from the garage, and that's where the bridge is that we're going to repair, making things a little bit easier for us. We got a little ways to go climbing up this hill, and you got to be aware a little bit, not too much, but you got to be aware a little bit of the off track of your trailer. You got to try and keep those wheels in solid ground, and as you climb up here, you're going to go back and forth a few times from side to side. And if you don't take some of your turns wide enough, your trailer wheels are going to be slipping off the side of the roadway. So we don't want to have that happen. So we're going to just take this corner here a little bit wider to the right, and then that way our tires should be okay in that first corner. Just like that. And then, like usual, we're going to climb over top of this little hump, because I don't think it's very safe to go around it. I'd rather go on top of it, especially when you're using a truck like the Sleiter. It's got lots of power. He's not going to get stuck on that little hill. He'll be okay. She's doing okay. I think we're going to make it all right. I think it's going to be another successful delivery. There again, most of the jobs and tasks in SnowRunner are not bad. The risks and all such are decent, and you can get by them if you go a little bit slower. That should be your goal, is just to take it a little bit easier, go a little bit slower, and you have a little bit more success. Just up ahead here is where the highway is. Just going to go a little bit further to climb out of there. Just like that. Head her off to the right, boys, and let's go and deliver the cargo so that the men can get to work and finish building the bridge. Absolutely awesome. Love the video. Hope you enjoyed it as well, and hope you maybe even got some tips or tricks or hints or something out of it. And I hope to see you back at Overfed Gaming again real soon. Until then, you've been delivering 2 metal beams in a Sleiter over towards the central bridge with me as your driver, the Overfed.